Hello everybody, Thierry here. Thank you so much so far. I've had a great response to my videos, so I want to thank you everyone for supporting what I do. It's not easy to talk about something that is so personal, but what I want to try and do is raise the awareness, and also I want to show everyone that it's okay that somebody can live with depression and still be a normal person and be happy. You know, depression doesn't have to be depressing, you know. Oh, there's a lovely dog behind us. So today I want to talk about, depression can be an uplifting subject. It can be a very motivational subject. So today I want the theme to be about depression and how it can be motivating people to achieve great things. So I want to talk to you about a few things that depression has helped me to achieve in my in my life so far. Yeah. So let's start with me when I was younger. I think I've always suffered from depression from a very early age. I think I was born with depression. It was part of my gene because my mother suffers from depression. So I believe that I was also born with it. So it's, is it a curse or is it a blessing? You know, I think it's a bit of both, but I like to look at things in a positive light. So in many ways, I think it was a blessing, and I'm going to tell you why. So when I was a kid, I was a loner. I was always on my own. I didn't like being with other people. I felt very uncomfortable with who I was. So I spent a lot of time daydreaming. I only had one friend, and that friend was my dog, Prince. So hello Prince, he's in heaven right now. So my dog was my best friend. I would go for endless walks in the countryside with my dog, and I would spend that time dreaming about, the life I wanted for myself, because I was very unhappy as a child, and I did live in a beautiful, place. It was the French countryside, with loads of open fields. We had a lovely house, lovely fresh food. For so many people, it could have been the dream childhood, and in many ways it was. But when you're unhappy and you don't know why you're unhappy, you start dreaming of a better life. We always think that the garden is greener on the other side. So. So I started to dream of a better life in a foreign country, and I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but I picked the UK. The UK is a very rainy country, but I loved it. I was attracted to it, and probably because it was part of the mood I was in. So I started dreaming that I would move to the UK at some stage. And guess what? Where am I now? I live in the UK, and I've been here for 24 years. So, so that's just one example of how depression can be turned into something positive, because I've had a great life here so far. 24 years of my life I've spent it here in the UK, and I love it. It's a great country. Later on, when I was about my late teen years, so in my 20s, I started, getting a desire to travel the world, because I had never, apart from being in the UK, I had never been anywhere, because I've never had, as a kid, we didn't have any money to travel. And also, traveling or flying was not something that we used to do at the time. Today is like taking a bus, but back then it was a bit of a, an event, and if you didn't have the money, you couldn't do it. So basically, I've never been anywhere up until the point where I decided I want to travel the world, and at that point I was still, obviously having, some depression kind of behaviors, and I felt that maybe, traveling around the world could be a good way to open up my horizon and free myself from my demons. So I applied for a job initially it was Eurostar, I remember. I applied for a job to work for Eurostar, and I got turned down. And then I applied to work for British Airways, and I got turned down. And then I was so unhappy because I thought, that's it, I can't travel the world. But then I applied again a couple of years later, and I got in, and I traveled the world for 15 years. I've been everywhere. But again, that stems from a desire to travel the world because my depression was oppressing me. So already two great examples of how depression can free you, can lift you up, can make you do things that you would have never thought you could do. Moving country at a very early age of 18, when you've never known anything else but your own country, it's very hard on your own without any money. I think I must have had 100 quid on me, if that. So yeah, then with Airways, got turned down but tried again and got through. And then I did some amazing things with British Airways. I mean, I was selected to operate a flight to Afghanistan to rescue the Brits who were working there. So my job was to fly there amongst other people on an empty plane, and then land and get them back to the UK as quickly as we could. They asked me again. I don't think I would do it, but it was very high risk. I mean, we could have been, shut down. So again, looking back, it was risky. But now thinking about it, after I've done it, it was a great achievement. While working with BA, I've also, I did some amazing things. I remember organizing some trips, some yoga trips. So we would operate to India somewhere, stay 7 days, and then I would teach the crew yoga every single day, twice a day. I mean, I've had some amazing trips with BAs doing that. And the last thing I want to talk about is, what was it again? Yes, as a kid I was bullied, right? I got over it because that's what kids do. There's no need to to moan about it or to cry about it or to go on about it. I was bullied. Many other kids are bullied. It's sad, but that's what kids do. They don't mean bad, but obviously we get offended. And as a kid, I got offended because I was always picked last to play football. And kids were saying that I was crap at it, and then I believed that I was not very good at sports. So and then growing up, I had this belief that grew up with me, and I decided to challenge it. And gradually, I started to think, okay, well, let me just do something about it. So I joined the gym, and then after I joined the gym, I attended a yoga class, and I was not very good at it. I was as stiff as a board back then. And then I decided, okay, well, I'm going to pick this activity and try and improve and explore and see what happens. And then obviously the rest is history. I became a yoga instructor, and now that's what I do. So these examples are very powerful. They're very important in my life, and they're very powerful because they remind me on a daily basis that, right, you suffer from depression, get over it, because there's some good things coming out of it, and so that's what today's video is all about. Depression, but also how depression can motivate you to do and achieve great things. So motivation, yeah, elation also. So depression can lead to elation. All right, that's all for me today. Take care and see you soon. Bye bye.